Welcome back to another episode of the Scoop Around the Loop. We've got Brady here. Brady, how is your week going so far?
It is going fantastic, Thomas. How's your week going?
I have zero complaints, my man. I have zero complaints. Tyler, how is your week going so far?
My week sucks. I can't wait for it to be over.
That's another attitude to have, but I understand sometimes you have shitty weeks. Brady.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just yapping. I'm blessed all around. There's sweet.
Brady, do you want to start with talking about your listing that is going to go live tomorrow?
I will. Unfortunately, we don't have any pictures right now. We're actually getting those done today, along with the cleaning, another thing we offer to our clients. But it is 3960 Northeast Timber Lane. It's a townhome. It's about 5 minutes off of I-35 in Ankeny. If you're looking for kind of an even between Ames and Des Moines, it's a great spot, about 20 minutes from each. 2023 build, so pretty new, all updated appliances and utilities. They're only 2 years old, so nothing crazy on that. 3-bed, 3-bath. All the bedrooms are upstairs. Got a really nice laundry room, walk-in closet, everything like that. But it's a Greenland Homes build, so it's good stuff. It's new. It's basically brand new. So
Andrew's not here, so I'm going to fill in and talk about the one thing that he would comment about. This is really, really close to the Costco in Ankeny.
Mm-hmm.
So just quick, 5-minute drive.
Yep.
That's kind of the area you're in.
The thing that would be best about living by a Costco to me would be like the Costco gas. Instead of just filling up when you just so happen to be at a gas by a Costco. I would love to go to Costco every single time I get gas because of the perks on the credit card are unmatched with gas from Costco.
Oh, yeah. Are you guys Hy-Vee fuel saver people?
Hannah is. I just rack them all up on Hannah's account.
That's good.
I'm a good husband,
We're Hy-Vee fuel saver people, but whenever we're at Costco, that's where we fill up as well. But it's like a full 20-minute drive for me, so.
Yeah, just same. You have to just happen to be out there with a low tank of gas.
Yeah, and it's not worth it to just specifically drive out there.
So in theory, the location, if someone were to drive a Yukon or like an SUV like myself, you could probably save about $100 a year, or in theory, get back $100 a year because of this townhome you built. Just so happens to be next to Costco. Of course, you have to have the Costco credit card for that too.
And then Brady, did you mention the price you guys are going to list it at, or have you not decided yet?
It'll be $250. $250 is what we decided on. So,
and it's my understanding that that's a pretty competitive price for that townhome market, right?
Very competitive in that area.
$250.
Yeah, that's what we're doing. It's a nice area. It's pretty quiet all around. There's fields to the other side, so you're not right in the busy part of town where you got.
I was out there touring it yesterday too, and it's pretty quiet, and you're not even in the main hustle and bustle of it too. You're kind of tucked in that corner, so it's a pretty good unit to be in my opinion. And because we don't have photos too, the other thing I would point out is there's only one shared wall. It's not technically an in unit, but you don't have two shared walls. You're not right in the middle of two people, just one shared wall. So it's a pretty good deal, in my opinion.
Does it allow rentals?
I have not looked into that yet. That was on my list for today.
I believe it might be one of those ones where it just has to be a certain percentage.
Yeah, I mean, I found that in most new construction.
Yeah,
kind of like Crestview, where it's a certain percentage of the people in there.
Tyler, you said on the podcast that you wanted more Des Moines history type stuff, and when you said that, the first thing I thought about is this fun fact that I bring up to people that grew up in the Des Moines area. There's a certain iconic Italian dish that is known for being invented in Des Moines. What?
Steak de Burgo.
Yeah. Did you know that?
You wanted to hype it up.
I'm Mr. Des Moines, man. I am Mr. Des Moines. Yeah.
Did you know about this, Brady?
I did not know. I honestly.
Have you ever had a Steak de Burgo?
I honestly don't even really know what it is.
Okay. So we're going to be teaching Brady something today. Tyler, have you ever had one, and where did you have it?
Yes, I have had it. A few different places. Christopher's has it.
Yep.
It has it. And I feel like I've had it at Jesse Embers too.
Christopher's has it. Latin King has it. I've had it both of those places. Simon's has it.
I'd imagine any spot like that has it in Des Moines.
Yeah, any of the more, there's probably some chain Italian places that don't have it, obviously, because it's really not. I mean, when you Google it, you can find tons of recipes and stuff like that. People know what it is, but it's just not as popular in other cities. But it's a signature dish, steak tenderloin, and garlic butter or a cream sauce that comes in on top of it. There's two different restaurants that claim that they're the ones that invented it. Both of these restaurants no longer exist in the Des Moines areas, but it was Johnny and Kay's or Vic's Tally Ho, depending on what story you want to believe. Like I said, all of them kind of make it a little different, but essentially it's a steak that has some sort of buttery type sauce on it. Sometimes it leads more towards like a cream sauce. Sometimes it's more olive oil based and stuff like that. But yeah, I would love for people to comment if they've had it before and talk about where they've had it and talk about if they knew it was a Des Moines specific dish. Because honestly, this is just something I've always seen it on a menu growing up, and I didn't realize it was just a Des Moines specific thing. So,
yeah, I like it a lot. I mean, I think steak purists would say like you don't need the extra stuff with a good steak, but if it makes it taste even better, why not?
I mean, Simon's, they have it with mashed potatoes. So you get some of that sauce on the mashed potatoes too, and it's perfect.
I'm gonna have to check this out. It looks good.
Yeah. And yeah, Brady, you gotta go to the right place to get it too. So,
okay.
I mean, I would say either Latin King or Simon's. Christopher's is pretty good too. But most of the time I go to Christopher's for their prime rib day.
I feel like I've seen this on the menu at John and Nick's.
Probably.
Yeah, they probably have it. Yeah.
Yep, that's Waukee Northwest in you. Northwest Waukee Steakhouses.
Do you have a favorite steakhouse type?
Like restaurant, like steakhouse restaurant? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Oh. I don't know who you're asking that to, but I'm going to answer and say Fleming's.
Dude, you just going to go to the chain restaurant on us?
Him and Andrew love answering about like chain spots to those type of questions. Like
it's Andrew, just like for us, like our family will go there for holidays. So it's kind of like got that feel to it too. Like we only go like once every other year or something like that. So.
Are you guys going to upgrade to Ruth's Chris or?
I've been there and I like Fleming's more.
Fair enough. Tyler, what do you got?
So my all-time favorite in Central Iowa is Rube's Steak. I was going to say Rube's Steakhouse on Ute Avenue. Cook your own steak out there, and you can do like the sidebar. You go up and just load up your plate with all the other sides and stuff like that. Really good spot for date night, I think, because you can cook up a steak and chat and have a glass of wine while the steak is cooking on the grill.
That's a pretty close place to you, Brady. I think your family should probably check that place out.
Fire. It's really good. I remember my cousin used to work there when I was little, but for the longest time, there was a come and go next door to it, but then there was like this weird, sketchy, meth-ridden motel further down the street as you go towards like Boonville and Van Meter. And then on the other side, none of that was built up at all. Now it's all, there's thousands of homes on the other side of the interstate from Rube's. But in Des Moines, I got to go with Jesse Embers on Ingersoll, a smaller spot. I found that not many people go there, but it's I feel like as old school or traditional steakhouse as you can get. It's all like all the waiters and waitresses are like older and grade and wear nice attire and have a big napkin or a towel around their arm as they're walking around like this, that type of thing. So
the old school type vibe.
Yeah.
Okay. My next
Thomas,
slide.
What about you, Thomas?
Yeah.
Thomas is gonna say, I'm gonna guess Thomas. Simons.
I was going to mention Simons and Christopher's. Yeah.
See, but to me, I don't count Christopher's as a steakhouse.
No, it's not really a steakhouse, but that's like the last few times I've got a steak at a place. That's where I've been. So it's more of an Italian place, but their prime rib rate's good deal. So as long as they don't run out of the prime rib, which has happened to me a few times, sadly. So, but I pulled up the first 6 months of 2025 compared to 2024, some real estate stats, just Dallas and Polk County, because with the way our matrix system works, it gets wonky with big numbers. So I wanted to trim it down a little bit, but this should give you a decent idea where the Des Moines Metro is at. And I kind of wanted to compare some numbers to see what your guys' opinions are, or if this is what you kind of would anticipate. And I guess I got 2025 pulled up here first. And this is the first 6 months. So this isn't counting July because I didn't want to factor in the part that sometimes people turn sales in late in July and it doesn't quite get updated till like the middle of August or so. And we're just in the last day. So this is January through June of 2025. These are kind of the stats we were looking at. So for resale, single family, we sold 3,006. In that same time period, there was 4,443 new listings, median price 292. Days on market, the median was 15 days on market. Once I flip over to this 2024 one, what kind of changes would you be expecting?
I'm curious I don't know what to expect, but I'm curious what days on market would be, how much that has changed. And I'm thinking there was a lot more sales the first 6 months of last year.
You think more were sold in 2024?
Yeah, all across the board.
Yeah. And we'll run through this really quick and then I'll just flip over to 2024 and we can flip back and forth if you want. But condos was 700 total sales. New construction was 903 for single family, 200 for condos. Listings for that was 1,063 for condos. Single family for new construction was 992. New listings for new construction condos was 273. Your median price points for condos for resale were 224, 395 for single family new construction, 268 for new construction condos. It's kind of interesting to see. I mean, you can kind of see why builders building new condos or townhomes isn't as popular because your gap from resale to new construction is not as big as you see for single family. Condo resales, days on market was 23 was the median, 135 for single family new construction, 164 for new construction condos, townhomes. That's another thing that kind of points to why it doesn't feel like there's a lot of new construction townhomes available. So let's flip to 2024.
I also think that the new single family home median price is from both years, I guess, is a lot lower than I would have thought. That shows how many homes the D.R. Hortons and the Hubbles.
I was going to say there's a certain builder that is making up a lot of those units and kind of bringing that number down.
Yeah, that's crazy because that's not what you think of. I kind of think of like a new construction home. In my head, it just naturally goes to like 400 or 450 or something like that.
And this is, I mean, it's kind of an interesting number to look at too. Like, I have a buyer right now that's pre-approved for 400. And I told them that they're in kind of an awkward spot because they're just on that cusp of being able to get a pretty good new construction home, but she would be making sacrifices. Whereas she could get a resale that has everything she wants, quote unquote, but then she's going through that resale stuff like how old is the roof, what's the mechanicals look like, all of that type of stuff. So I need to pull up this number more often, that median sales price for new construction, because I think that's a good number to point out to people is based on what they could get approved for if new construction is possibly an option. Because I know Tyler, you've probably had a few buyers there that are kind of in that higher 300s that are trying to see if they can make new construction work, but they realize what that means if you're in that lower price point in new construction.
Yeah, and just like overall size of home at that price point is pretty like almost guaranteed to have an unfinished basement.
Mm-hmm.
Guaranteed to have less than a quarter acre lot. But that also just shows the need and the desire for people to have a nice place. That's ultimately what most people want. They just want a nice spot to move into. No work needed, nothing like that. So I've found that more people kind of prefer a smaller lot because it's less work for them. And again, you can only afford certain things at certain price points. So that's obviously part of it too. But
if you're getting it to new construction, if you have a good inspection on it, like your only thing that you have to focus on when you're moving into new construction is just properly maintaining everything. Whereas with pretty much every resale home you buy, there's going to be some sort of project that you want to do day one when you move in, whether it's to make the home safe and usable, or just like there's probably cosmetic stuff that you don't like. So it's just kind of I can see the urge for a lot of people to go new construction just because there's quote unquote less worries, but there are some sacrifices, like Tyler said. So let's kind of flip back and forth between sales first. So
Brady, I can't see you.
I'm just a floating head.
So resale single family total units sold was actually down, or it was up from 24 to 2025, about 300 closed sales. New listings was up from 2024 to 2025. Median price went up, and days on market went up. So homes are selling a little slower, but basically every other metric went up. And it's kind of the same story across the board.
Yeah, and I think the median price from last year, all across the board, compared to this year, if you want to toggle back, just so I'm not making sure I'm not talking crazy. Yeah,
They all went up.
like you said, and so even though the market has slowed down, and less sales are happening, and we're seeing more price reductions and that type of thing, price has still gone up. So I think that kind of goes directly against the thought of when, as soon as a market shift happens, that prices are going to drop. And I think that's what a lot of people think that are on the sidelines, is that if this market shift continues to happen and stays with the buyers, prices are going to go down. And that's not the case.
And this may be more anecdotal, but what I've been seeing with the listings I've been showing my buyers to, talking about this days on market, it really just seems like homes are either in good shape and presented well and priced well and sell within a week, or they just seem to be sitting on the market for like a really, really long time. Whereas I don't know if it felt that way as much last year. So I would say, like, your best time to market your home right now is the day you list it. So to people that are thinking about selling right now, these metrics that we're pulling up right here are saying that despite the way it feels and despite the national headlines that you're reading, our central Iowa market is still pretty strong. But I would definitely just urge people to make sure you're priced right and your home is presented well day one. The other interesting thing that might kind of talk about my vibes thing that I was kind of talking about, because it just seems like every national headline we're reading right now is just kind of doom and gloom with the real estate market. It is kind of interesting to see how many new listings new construction had in 2024. They were at 1,285. To just this year, they listed 992. So that's a 300 listing difference. And condos was kind of similar. Condos, they listed 325 and they only listed 273 this year. So, I mean, that can kind of give you a peek behind the curtain. Well, one, there's probably a lot of inventory that they were sitting on from last year. And two, like they're just not building as much. If I were to get really, really into it, we could pull new construction permits and compare them year to year, but these are stats we have today. So, but that was the only kind of weird thing I saw as far as numbers compared this year to last year.
Yeah, it's the real estate market. The real estate market has just shifted. Personally, I'm having from a real estate agent perspective, I'm having a down year, but I also know plenty of agents out there are getting to it and having awesome years. So I've stopped complaining about it and blaming the markets because I don't think it's necessarily a down market. I think it's just a shifting market, one that is coming from one extreme and hopefully just kind of balancing out versus, like you said, the doom and gloom of like going to the complete other extreme. I think people again think back to 08 and we're due for another 08, blah, blah, blah. But what people don't realize is like the reason there's not so many borrowers right now is because you have to be a good borrower in order to get a loan these days, because 8% interest rates aren't stopping bad borrowers. You know what I mean? Like if that wasn't the case, we'd still have plenty of borrowers, and then these other effects would then obviously lead to foreclosures and all that stuff that actually caused 08. I think these builders are just realizing that there's not as many good borrowers and kind of toning it back for their own sake. You know what I mean? And because they're doing smart business. It's just I don't know if any of that makes sense, but just kind of it's a shifting market, I think. I don't necessarily think it's a down market because, again, there's definite pros to it. And we've seen sellers sell their homes really quick as if it was a seller's market. But we've also seen buyers get $20,000 for a window allowance as if it's a buyer's market, so.
And there's lots of builders right now offering pretty good incentives too. Better incentives than I saw thrown out there in 2024. Yeah, I think there's some appealing things if you're buying right now. And like I said, if you're wanting to go bargain shopping, it seems like there's more houses that have a pretty high days on market than there was last year. I mean, obviously across the board, days on market has gone up. And the longer a home sits on market, the more likely you are to get something going as far as negotiation and stuff like that. And I will also point out, I mean, yes, days on market has gone up, and that's kind of the only indicator we got that, like Tyler said, things are kind of shifting. Our months of inventory has gone up as well too. But I mean, 15 days on market, Tyler, I mean, that you would still consider that pretty strong, wouldn't you?
Yeah, that's a crazy thing. I mean, I remember training to be a realtor, and I think the average days on market for like seller's market is like 60 days. Like if homes were selling in 2 months, it's still like sellers still had the leverage.
Mm-hmm.
Again, this was in 2018 or whatever when I was reading up on how to do all this stuff. But now it seems, again, 15 days, it's all of a sudden like a really, really big seller's market or a really big buyer's market, when historically that's still a strong seller's market. It's just, yeah, kind of interesting. And again, social media and news and headlines and all that stuff obviously contribute to kind of that mindset shift of what's a healthy market, what's a seller's market, what's a doom and gloom market, and all that stuff.
On that national headline thing too that we talked about a few times, I almost just wouldn't read them because, and we've talked about this before, but like your bigger cities on the coast are affecting those national numbers so much. And I mean, there's a lot of weird stuff going on in Florida and California right now with insurance that are making certain listings just almost impossible to sell. And when you have a big variance in those markets that have a ton of people in them, they pull those national numbers so much more than Des Moines having a somewhat modest growth in median sales price. So we're not really even putting a blimp in the national numbers. I mean, it's not a crazy growth. $10,000 increase in median sales price.
I mean, I think it's just more natural or more normal.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like but again, even in a normal real estate market, investing in real estate gives you a nice, solid, healthy return. It's not Bitcoin in 2019 or whatever year that it really started to go off type of return, but it's a nice, healthy return, just like it's always been for generations and generations. And again, getting in sooner rather than later gives you more chances to capitalize on huge returns like people saw in 2020 and 2021. And
and the getting in sooner thing too, like, and you kind of alluded to this, Tyler, there's tons of people that just think we're going to hit a crash, so I'm going to wait for the crash to happen to buy. Well, one, that crash, quote unquote, might not be as big of an adjustment as you think. And two, even if you buy right now and there is a decrease in prices for 1 year, maybe 2 years, most people are going to be living at home for 7, 8, right around there. And you're going to have, after that decrease of 2 years, you're going to have 5, 6 years of growth right after that.
Yeah.
So,
and this is a little harsh, but it's reality. Like a lot of people that say they're going to buy in a crash aren't going to be financially able to buy in a crash. That's why there's a crash. That's why the economy crashed, is because a lot of people were in hot water. You know what I mean? So I think just this idea where people think that like if the economy just completely crashes and tanks and you'll be affected by it. Hopefully you won't be. Hopefully your job is stable, but who's to say that your job won't be affected? Your pay won't be affected. You won't have to take on other debts so you can't afford to buy a new house, even if it's 50, 60
and maybe this is me being a pessimist, but it would be those same people that as it's crashing would say, well, the real estate market is crashing. Why would I buy a home right now?
Yeah. Yeah. There's always a reason. And I think at the end of the day, and I'll say this now, I'll say this if interest rates get down to 4%, I'll say this if interest rate gets to 12%. Like if the monthly payment makes sense, it makes sense. And there's pros and cons to every single market. Right now, the pros are you can get credits or, have a chance to think about it versus having to make a decision. To me, that's the biggest pro right now. You have a couple of days to think about it and maybe go back to the house twice. The cons are your interest rate are 8%. Yeah. 2 years ago, the pros were interest rates were 3%, and you could afford a little bit more house. The con was that you had to make an offer while you were standing in the house looking at it. So,
Brady, anything interesting that you're seeing in these numbers? Does any of this kind of shock you?
I wouldn't say anything necessarily shocks me. I mean, just kind of I think Tyler mentioned it earlier. I mean, the price is going up every year. That's, like you said, it's an investment that's been like that for generations and generations. It's not going to give you crazy, crazy money after living in a house for 6 months, but it's an investment just like anything else. So, I mean, that's what sticks out to me the most is you're gonna more than likely, can't say 100% for sure because there's different situations that happen, but more than likely you're gonna get a good return on your investment when you're ready to sell.
The new construction condo townhome market has always interested in me because in my head it's never quite been as strong as I always felt like it should be. Is there anything you're seeing builders do that you kind of wish they would do different with townhomes? Like
2-story townhomes?
Like there's too many of them?
Yeah.
Because it seems like, pretty much every builder I can think of is doing that 2-story either on slab or with a basement, and they all pretty much look the same.
Yeah. We need more ranch townhomes. Obviously there's people that know way more than me that are building these townhomes, and there's a reason they don't. And I know some of the reasons. It's just more expensive and that type of thing. But I think some $350,000 ranch townhomes would sell like hotcakes here.
The one thing I thought of too, and this is, I'll put my hand up. There's smarter people than me, and this is way easier said than done. But I feel like you walk through a lot of new construction townhome developments, and there's just like nothing for amenities, Like there's not even a dog park. There's not even a pool anymore.
Yeah, I was also gonna suggest like I wish more townhomes would allow fences to be built.
Yeah.
That'd
As dumb as that sounds,
that'd
there's
be
a ton of
huge.
people that's exactly what they're looking
Yeah,
for.
that would be huge. I mean, that would help a lot. Obviously, with townhomes, like the whole point is you can fit a whole bunch of units on, one plat of land or whatever. And that's the pro to the developer or the builder, is to sell a bunch of units off. But
The other thing I think of too, like a lot of our older townhome / condo developments, as far as walkability, they're just closer to stuff that people would want to walk to. Whereas like now, a lot of them are just being built kind of sort of out in the middle of nowhere, it feels like, and there's nothing really to walk to, and there's no restaurants, there's just nothing. So that might be something that they're fighting as well. Brady, have you walked through any new construction townhome developments? Is there anything you're not seeing that you would want?
I mean, a lot of them seem like very, very similar. There's not really much like character to them or like kind of that homey feel. But I mean, kind of like you said, walkability for townhomes is something that sticks out to me. And if it sticks out to you, we have a great listing at 9556 Crestview in West Des Moines. Walkable to Central Standard, Jethro's, that entire strip mall on University. So
you can game on the upper level while your girlfriend watches Love Island on the lower level.
You can buy that, and then you can walk to Brady's office daily and bother him.
Can hit off my Velcro golfing mat. I'll let you do it for free.
And you can use the office Keurig that I don't pay for at all, but you can use it. You can have free coffee if you want. If you buy that. Please buy it.
Okay. The next activity I had pulled up was we were going to just kind of talk about local neighborhoods and towns. And I thought the fun thing to do would just, I'm going to throw out some superlatives or describing words, and you guys just go with it. The first neighborhood or town that you think of when you hear these words, just throw it out there, and I want to talk about it. Okay? Does that sound good?
Ghetto.
Let's do this one. Let's do the opposite of ghetto. What's the most bougie suburb or neighborhood you could think of?
You could just shout them out.
Yeah, go for it.
Prairie Trail.
Okay.
For sure, to me. Or
Brady?
Waterbury.
I said Glen Oaks.
Yeah, Glen Oaks. The Agrihood neighborhood in Cummings.
But do you guys know what bougie means?
Yeah.
Bougie means like you try to show that you have a ton of money, but like you don't actually have a ton of money.
Oh,
I think you pegged
those Glen Oaks people got money. They're not pretending.
I was thinking of it more just like you got money.
I think that I've always thought of like bougie as like, you think
Prairie. So you think Prairie Trails is like just Kmart, Glen Oaks then?
Yeah, that's a little harsh because Kmart's all the way out of business. I would say the Walmart, Glen Oaks.
Okay, all right. That's
or
really
like,
funny. That's really
or
funny.
like Waterbury.
Has a Target.
Waterbury, and hopefully my brother and sister-in-law aren't watching this because they live in Waterbury. But I feel like
that's a nice neighborhood.
It is a nice neighborhood,
but they want to be south of Grand.
They want to be south of Grand. They're not. They're not on the right side of the art center.
All right, what community comes up when I say underrated?
Highland Park.
Ooh, Highland Park.
Yeah.
There's lots of new development coming into Highland Park, and I think
your dollar is very safe in Highland Park. There's a lot of charm and character. There's a lot of homeowners in Highland Park. And so I think property values go up because people in there seem to care about their properties a little bit more than neighborhoods to the south of it. I don't know. Am I allowed to say that? And yeah, there's a lot of money going into it, but also location. It's like you could get to Prairie Trail, which we were just talking about, from Highland Park in like 8 minutes. I can, from my house in Johnston, about the same time. You get to downtown in like 5 minutes. It's really like in the middle of the map if you were to throw a dart in Central Iowa.
I'm going to throw out 2 different communities that, one, I don't think people realize how close to Des Moines they really are.
I'm going to guess which one, because Dallas Center.
No.
Oh.
I was going to say Van Meter for
That's
one
what
on the west side. I think that's a great little town, great school district. You get a really small town vibe. And then one, I don't know if people really realize how close to stuff it is Carlisle. And as a Norwalk kid, that hurts me to say because I love Norwalk more than Carlisle, but I don't think enough people look at Carlisle. There's not a ton of new construction options there, but if you can find the right listing in Carlisle, it's kind of a nice little pocket to be in. You're just southeast of Des Moines. You get downtown pretty quickly. I think it's a really good spot. Brady, is there anything you think of? What do you think underrated?
Van Meter with you too.
Yeah. Anything you like about Van Meter?
Badger Creek, great for fishing.
I also think Van Meter, if you were to say, hey, Thomas, what's the next suburb that's going to blow up like Waukee? That's one to possibly mention. I think
they're Adele.
Yeah.
That was a little bigger already, I feel like, but
yeah,
they got a ton of new construction going south.
Van Meter has the Van Meter Visitor.
Yeah. We're so afraid of that, aren't we?
I would add Dallas Center to that. Dallas Center has a couple restaurants in like the downtown area. They have a ice cream shop. They have a little CrossFit studio, I think. There's some new construction on the east side of Dallas Center, so the side closer to Grimes. And I think Grimes is only going to grow to the west, obviously. So that gap between Grimes and Dallas Center is, I mean, when we're old, I'd imagine that gap is going to be pretty dang
start to close.
Small, yeah. But
all right, walkable. What neighborhoods would you want to be in if you were focused on walkability? Brady, you go first.
Prairie Trail.
Good run.
I'm going to mention where I live, my hood, Valley Junction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Valley Junction's a great one. Beaverdale, where I used to live, is a great one, especially if you live, it'd be like 38th Street and like 46th Street or something like that. If you live in that range, you're like a quarter mile from that little downtown Beaverdale spot.
Forgive me because I've never lived there. Where did you grocery shop when you lived there?
When I felt like getting into verbal altercations, I go to the Harding Hills Hy-V on MLK. But sometimes I didn't feel like that. It would never fail. Someone like always picked a fight with me there. I'd get challenged to one-on-one constantly by like older homeless men. You're tall for no reason. You don't hoop. As I'm walking in to the Hy-V, no joke, true story. MLK and Euclid, that Hy-V. But we go to Price Chopper.
That's right. The Beaverdale neighborhood, isn't it?
Yeah, and then Hy-V on 42nd and University too.
Yeah. Okay. And
then Sherman Hills. I gotta go Sherman Hill. That's actually like a good walking neighborhood because you get some hills in there too. If you want,
I was gonna pull up this one that I thought Sherman Hills might get mentioned for historic charm.
Beaverdale or Sherman Hill for sure. I mean, Sherman Hill is small, but that'd probably by far be the top pick. That's the oldest neighborhood in the city. So
yeah, I kind of think that's kind of sort of the only. Does South of Grand have historic charm? Can you say that for South of Grand? Kind of.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, for sure. There's a lot of like newer homes built in though, and throughout are like completely.
This might end up just being the same answer, but what about Instagrammable?
Jordan Creek, West Des Moines.
Yeah, it kind of depends which route you go because Sherman Hills is very Instagrammable.
I'm going to point out
very Instagrammable.
I think one of the coolest streets to drive down, and I imagine what?
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say Polk Boulevard.
Yeah, that's where my brother-in-law and sister-in-law live, is on Polk Boulevard.
Yeah,
I agree. The marathon runs, the Des Moines marathons run right down the street. Similar to that is Thompson Avenue. If you've ever shown a house on Thompson Avenue by Grandview, be just
Very
south
cool.
of Grandview on Southeast 14th Street. It's just like each side of the street has a couple hundred huge oak trees. I mean, they're like 40, 50 feet tall. And it's just like random. It's like the original, when that part of town was platted out, those owners must have had it in their covenants to like maintain these giant trees during the fall. It's beautiful. And then for whatever reason on that stretch of street, all the homes, and I think it's because of the trees and the notoriety it has on that side of town, all the homes are pretty well maintained and all are like the story and a half brick homes. So the next time you're driving down East 14th Street and you're about to pull up on Grandview, just go to Thompson Avenue.
Check it out.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, you mentioned Beaverdale, didn't you?
Yeah. And again, Beaverdale is like pretty wide, I would say, a pretty big neighborhood. But especially like
Christmas.
Around, Christmas, you have the Ashby thing, but they have a couple of different streets that, are winding, like Maryland Pike or whatever, by Beaver and Hickman. That's a really cool spot of it.
Jordan Creek neighborhood, you think, Brady? Or anything else you thought of?
Yeah, I mean, you can go down to like King's Landing by Jordan Creek, and those are pretty Instagrammable homes for different reasons.
Yeah, it's if you want to see some cool homes. Oh, and then what are they even calling that? Yeah, I guess that would be King's Landing. I was thinking of like more like south of there, but that's kind of that same neighborhood. All right, this question's for a younger Tyler. What neighborhood would you want to live in if you wanted to bar hop?
Man, I've had the same answer for everything.
I think there's a better answer than Beaverdale for this. I would want to live in the Ingersoll neighborhood.
Oh, Ingersoll. Yeah, I've lived there too.
Yeah.
Those spots are good.
Yeah. Brady?
I just have more memories of bar hopping in Beaverdale. Like, again, I've told this story to people before. Back when we used to live there, Hannah used to work the overnight shift at the hospital. I just, from 6:30 to 6:30 at night and on, I'd just be by myself. So I would literally walk down to downtown Beaverdale, especially during basketball and football season, and just post up. And I'd have one beer over like 4 hours, that type of thing. But I'd just post up with some real good people and hang out in the Beaverdale bars.
What was your favorite one to hang out at?
Chilling. Beaver Tap for sure.
Yeah. If you're ever really bored, I'm not going to read them on this podcast, but if you're ever really bored, some of the reviews of the Beaver Tap on Google are pretty hilarious.
Are they good? Are the people trying to be funny? Or are they bad? I can see both.
Some are really good. Well, most are really, really good, but there's some people that have had some weird experiences. Felt like an outsider at that bar, so I think it's really funny.
Yeah, it's a weird. It can be a weird mix of people in there for sure.
But every time
That's why I like it.
Every time I've been there, they've been really, really nice. So I'm going to blame it on the person that was reviewing, but the reviews are still really,
again, if you get some of them Prairie Trail people or Polk Boulevard people over there, they might turn their nose up at Beaver Tap.
I didn't write this one out, but what about, we all have experience with this. What neighborhood, traffic-wise, what area annoys you the most? I think of Ankeny first thing.
Yeah. I can't handle or labor at about 4 p.m.
Yeah, they just have like the 4 main streets forming like a hashtag across the city, and everyone takes them because you have to take them. Yeah, I think Ankeny for sure. Or, I mean, I don't love driving down Hickman through like Clive.
Yeah.
That sucks too.
Compared to Orlabor, though, that's a breeze.
You're biased though, dude. You grew up off of Hickman and Clive.
Well, I'm saying like if I'm going like during rush hour, Hickman's bad in like that stretch from like Lifetime to the interstate. Like, that's not bad. Orlabor is bad all the way from the exit all the way down to Hy-Vee. It's horrible.
This is more of a real estate agent thing too. but there's some neighborhoods at Urbandale that are just straight up annoying to drive through. Like Beaverdale kind of has this issue too with all the curvy streets and stuff like that, and it just drives me insane. But
East Village can be pretty frustrating too. I know, obviously actually probably a lot of people live there by the numbers, but it's not known for residential. But I've helped a few people buy and sell property in there, and that can be really frustrating because there's so many no parking and Crotos. Don't come into East Village without checking in with Croto. Do not do it. You better call up Croto, say, Mr. Croto, I'm coming to East Village. Do not tow me.
Can I have your permission?
Yes, because oh my goodness, that is super frustrating. So that might, now that I think about it, East Village might get the cake over Ankeny because it's so hard to park places and one ways and all that stuff.
You know, Brady, we really didn't talk about Waukee much. When people hear Waukee, what do you think they think of?
Not good things most of the time, from what I hear.
People are just giving you shit then. I think of perfect, to be honest with you.
You know what I will say about, because, like, in all honesty, when I think about Waukee, I also think about, like, it compared to, like, the Jordan Creek area in West Des Moines. And Waukee, if you compare those two, Waukee's restaurant selection and bar selection is so much better than the Jordan Creek area.
Yeah, I think we don't have a lot of sit down.
Obviously.
We don't have a lot of sit down though, is the thing. Like we got a lot of Mexican restaurants and Mexican sit down places, but like
I mean, you got Central Standard, you got Barntown.
Barntown's not Waukee, playa.
Oh, it's technically West Des Moines. It's barely West Des Moines.
Barely, by like 50 yards.
Yeah. Mickey's is West Des Moines, isn't it? Or no, that's Waukee.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
What
that's
is?
a nice bar.
Mickey's, right by the car dealership, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Waukee. Or that might be Clive, actually.
Yeah, I think that might be Clive. Like Sarpino's is Clive, Sam and Nick's is Clive or whatever.
Okay, all the nice things I was saying about Waukee, I apologize. They're not about Waukee.
It's just weird that, but like in terms of, I think of like really good city planning. Waukee is going to have, again, by the time in 10 years, a decade, 2035, Waukee is going to be probably what everyone thinks as the best city, I would think.
You know what's kind of crazy? And the Des Moines Metro just doesn't really have the amount of people for it yet. There's not like a big shopping center out there. Like the two shopping centers you have really in the Des Moines Metro right now are like Jordan Creek and then the outlets in Altoona, but there's nothing really like in Waukee.
Yeah, I mean, I think Jordan Creek is they're kind of obviously landlocked and there's not a ton more that they can grow, but I'd imagine in the age of Amazon and stuff, that's going to be the Iowa shopping center. Like that's going to be where even more people from out of central Iowa are going to be coming there than people in central Iowa. It'll turn into a destination to go shop for the weekend just because. Like I saw our post on social media and it was like a dude was driving around the Waterloo Mall for what's that called?
Crossroads?
Yeah, Crossroads at like noon on a Saturday. And there was like 5 cars in the parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like that's not going to – Coralville, I think, is still doing okay. But yeah, eventually.
Well, and I think the mall that was in Cedar Falls, I believe it's completely closed now, College Square. So it's just Crossroads and it's still dead.
So where's this Cedar Falls Shields at? It's not in a mall?
No, yeah, it's a standalone store.
It's always been like that?
No, it used to be in College Square. It moved to a standalone shop in 2016.
That's what did the mall in.
Wait, no, 15. Yeah, it didn't help. The Shields moved out, and then Old Chicago closed, and then that mall was. Which you can't even go to an Old Chicago anymore, man. There's not. I don't think there's one in Iowa.
Ames?
Yeah, Ames got one.
I don't go to Ames. All right. On that note, thank everyone.
Hey, Thomas, did you hear about the news about UNI?
That they're being little brother at Iowa State and basically building the same exact thing. They're building a Panther
campus?
town.
Oh no, I didn't. I did hear that. That's not what I was talking about. Didn't they just announce that in-state tuition is going to be expanded to all the states bordering it?
Yep. So if you border the state of Iowa, you can get in-state tuition to go to UNI. I know when I went there for undergrad, 84% of the students at UNI were Iowa residents. So I think they're trying to
for a bland social setting.
And it was a lot of
bunch of losers.
No offense to my small town Iowa people, but it was a lot of people from small towns in Northeast Iowa. So
bunch of people that look at the floor when talking to you. Now we can get some lively people up in Cedar Falls. Anyways,
I think they'll get. People in southern Minnesota, I could see them being kind of appealed by that. Wisconsin, I could see
that's going to help a lot, I think.
I don't think you're getting too much of a different demographic by doing that, though.
No, probably not.
Southern Minnesota versus Northeast Iowa, those people are probably pretty similar. So
yeah, and Western Illinois, same people.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Leave comments. We love all of it. And click that link and find different ways to follow the podcast. And have a great weekend.